There is an animal that biologists call the most successful large predator in the history of North America. This animal now lives in all 50 states. In every major American city, Chicago counts more than 2,000 individuals. Los Angeles, more than 4,000. They've been spotted in Central Park in New York, on the streets of Boston, in the suburbs of Washington. And most likely, one lives in your neighborhood, right now. Keep watching, and you'll find out who we're talking about, and why this animal knows more about you than you think. How did it take over American cities while we weren't looking? What happens when it looks at you? What does it see? What does it assess? What does it decide? And why does an encounter with it mean something important about your neighborhood? This is the story of a predator that figured out people and drew its own conclusions. Let's start with how our subject ended up everywhere. It has lived in North America for more than 1 million years. Originally, prairies, deserts of the Southwest, open spaces, places where you can see far and run fast. It hunted rabbits, rodents, anything that didn't get away in time. It didn't venture east much, because wolves were there. And wolves had no love for our subject and killed them on sight. Not out of spite, out of competition. Fair enough. But then, European settlers began methodically wiping out wolves, bears, mountain lions, anyone who scared the livestock and seemed dangerous. By the 20th century, large predators had vanished from most of the continent, and the East suddenly became open. Our subject moved in. Slowly at first, then faster. Then something happened that biologists did not expect at all. Cities grew. Suburbs spread outward. Forests were cut down. Fields were built over. By every law of ecology, a large predator should have retreated. Lost territory, hidden further away. Our subject looked at all of this and walked into the city. So, if you haven't guessed yet, write in the comments when it clicked. Here it is. This is the coyote, Canis latrans, in Latin, barking dog. A modest name, frankly, for an animal that has outplayed the entire American civilization. In 2000, Chicago launched a major research project on urban coyotes. Scientists expected to find a few dozen animals somewhere on the outskirts, near garbage dumps. They found more than 2,000. In residential neighborhoods, in business districts, in parks in the center of the city. They had been living there for a long time. It just hadn't occurred to anyone to look. It gets more interesting. It turned out that urban coyotes didn't just survive in the city. They restructured their entire daily schedule around the human timetable. Active mainly at night. Not because they fear the dark, but because that's when the fewest people are on the streets. They learned the schedule, literally. They know when the yard is empty, when the neighbors take out the trash, when the cat goes for a walk, when you get home from work. You live by a schedule. They wrote it down, a separate story, how they communicate. Coyotes have 11 documented types of vocalization, not just barks and howls. Different sounds carry different messages. Alarm signal, call to a partner, command to pups, marking territory boundaries. A whole language, and a working one. But here's what's especially interesting. A group of 3 or 4 coyotes howling together creates a sound that's perceived as 20 or 30 animals. They interrupt each other, change pitch, create a chaotic chorus. This is not an accident. It's a deliberate acoustic illusion. Anyone who hears that howl gets the signal. There's a large pack here. Better stay away. 3 animals sound like 30. That is, if we're calling things what they are, fraud. If you ever heard a nighttime howl and thought, God, there's a whole horde of them, it was most likely a pair with a couple of pups. One more thing. Coyotes form lifelong pairs. Male and female hunt together, raise pups together, hold territory together. If one dies, the other may walk the same routes for weeks. Biologists have observed this many times. Interpreting it is their job, but the fact remains. Now specifically, what's happening in your neighborhood while you sleep? A suburban coyote is not the same animal that lives on the prairie. It's a separate version of the species with separate skills, and in some respects, a more effective one. Urban coyotes hunt more successfully than their rural counterparts, not because they're stronger, but because they know the specific territory better. They know every yard within a few blocks, where the cat lives, where the rabbits hide when there's noise, which houses always have something left near the trash can. A pair often hunts as a team. One drives the prey in a certain direction, the other waits there ahead of time. Young ones learn this from their parents. It's not innate, it's education. Now, about something that irritates many people and confuses them at the same time. When a coyote walks along the street past you, it almost never looks directly at you, as if you don't exist, as if it doesn't notice you at all. It notices. Direct eye contact for coyotes means a challenge. So what looks like ignoring you is actually politeness. Its way of saying, I see you, you see me, everything's fine, we go our separate ways. Negotiations. Just without words. Here is where it gets genuinely interesting. Urban coyotes distinguish between specific people, not human in general as a category of danger, but a specific person from a specific house with a specific pattern of behavior. If you've never bothered them, you're most likely filed under neutral background object. They'll walk past without reaction. If you ever scared them or chased them away, they remembered you specifically. They'll keep their distance from you specifically, not from your neighbor, from you. If you fed them, they remembered that too. And that's the worst outcome. Not because they become aggressive, but because they stop fearing people in general. And that's already a problem for them. When residents in one neighborhood started actively chasing coyotes away, the entire local group shifted its routes within a few weeks. Not one specific coyote, all of them. Information about a specific street passed through the group. How, not fully understood, but it passed. Here we need to stop and say something important. Americans have been hunting coyotes for roughly 200 years. Paid for pelts, poisoned them, set traps, organized coordinated culls. The government spent millions of dollars on population control programs. Result? The population grew, the range expanded. They made it to the cities. This is not coincidence and not irony. It's biology. When part of the population is destroyed, the surviving females begin giving birth to more pups, sometimes twice as many as usual. Numbers recover faster than before the hunting, again and again. Their species is literally programmed for pressure. The harder you push, the more of them there are. 200 years of trying, and the animal now lives in Central Park. And one more thing. A single urban coyote destroys around 1,500 rodents per year. Neighborhoods where they live have significantly fewer problems with mice and rabbits. That's not an opinion, that's data. 200 years of war against an animal that controls rodents for free. No further comment needed. A few things most people get wrong about coyotes. First, they don't hunt in large packs like wolves. The basic unit is a pair or a small family. Everything that sounds like a horde is most likely 5 at most. Remember the acoustic fraud. Second, howling doesn't mean hunting. Most of the time it's just conversation within the family, or a response to outside sounds. Here we need to pause. Urban coyotes regularly respond to ambulance sirens. Why specifically to sirens? Biologists have been studying for several decades. There are theories, but no firm answer. The coyotes themselves aren't explaining. Third, attacks on people are extremely rare exceptions. A healthy wild coyote avoids humans, not because it's kind, but because it's advantageous. Humans are unpredictable and dangerous. Almost all documented incidents involve animals that people had been feeding, meaning people created the problem themselves, then got scared of the result. The next time you hear a nighttime howl in your neighborhood, stop for a moment. Somewhere in the dark, a small family is talking, while everyone sleeps. This animal survived the disappearance of wolves, the settling of a continent, 200 years of being hunted, and the rise of cities. And every time it did the same thing. Watched, thought, stayed. It didn't defeat people. It simply learned to understand them better than most people understand it. Have you ever seen a coyote near your home? Heard one at night? Write in the comments. I read everything. I reply to everything. Subscribe if you haven't yet. There's a lot more coming.